My next guest has got a really exciting fight coming up here against Bryan Barberena, Bam Bam, on July 31st. It is Jason Witt back here on the program. Jason, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Excited to be back on here and talk about some fights and talk about life.
Absolutely. It's always my pleasure to have you here. First off, you're outside. What are you up to today doing some training? I know you do some personal training as well.
Yeah, so funny story. So I'm in between clients. I own a gym in Overland Park, Kansas. In between clients, my wife and I lost our dog about 3 weeks ago, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. We're both really kind of shook up by it still. And so I saw a dog online, and it was down the street. So I'm like, I might as well just go look at it and see if it's a fit for us. So I'm actually at the pet rescue place right now, and just went and saw him before I had an interview with you.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's crazy. Sorry to hear about your other dog. What happened?
Yeah. So we went to Cabo for about a week, and we got back, and they had texted us like, hey, he has kind of a limp on his leg, which he's always had. He hates the kennel. He hated being stuck with other dogs, and so usually he would kind of just fake an injury to get some sympathy. And we got there, and he walked out, and I saw a look in his eyes. He wasn't right, and he kind of collapsed when I saw him. Like that was his last ditch effort. Took him to the vet. They told us he had spleen cancer and neurological issues, giving him blood clots, which cuts off the use to his legs. And so we could have done like surgery and give him chemo and all that stuff, but he would have had like 9 months to live. And it's heartbreaking to make that decision, and it really is. And it was a terrible, probably the worst day in our lives up to this point. And so we decided to make the decision to put him down.
Sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, I love pets. I got a cat. I know it's not the same, but still, it's I know how much pets sort of mean to everyone. So really, yeah, send my best to you and the wife. Sorry to hear about that. But you got this exciting fight here. Let's keep it on a positive note here. Was this sort of the right amount of time off between the last fight? Just everything considered. You mentioned going to Cabo. You mentioned the dog and everything. Was this sort of timing wise the right amount of time off?
Yeah, it definitely was. I was kind of itching to get back in there, but there was a lot of things in my life that I needed to take care of. And so it kind of a couple months time frame was really the time frame that I needed to really put in the training camp that I wanted to put in for this fight.
Excellent. What did you learn the most from the last fight? Just a mistake? How do you sort of sort of look back on that fight against Matthew Semmelsberger?
Man, there's not a lot you can learn from the fight itself. 60 seconds, just knowing you can't make the mistakes I made at this level in the game. And a lot of things, like I said, in my personal life, we went back to the UFC Institute and kind of did some random tests to see, if I could go lower weight class or just what I needed to do. And their tests showing that, in all honesty, I was the most stressed out athlete in the entire UFC roster. They were very concerned about either my health or anything like that. And so I've changed up a lot of things in my life in terms of sleep schedule. I was waking up at 4 a.m. every day, working until like 8 o'clock at night, and I would just kind of run myself down. And so, not making any excuses in the Semmelsberg fight. He won fair and square. That's the way life is. But I've made a lot of changes to where I'm getting more sleep. I'm recovering better. My training schedule's 1,000 times better. I feel a lot better. And I'm putting in a lot better work inside the gym and outside, and getting a lot more recovery, which is definitely paid off. And I see that now. And you can't connect the dots moving forward. You can only connect them moving backwards. So looking back, these are things I should have done earlier, and I wasn't doing.
How many hours of sleep were you getting like before all this? I was curious.
6.5 maybe.
Okay, so you obviously need more than that, because I need 8. That's how if I even get 6, I can definitely tell the difference.
Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, I go to bed at 10 o'clock now, and I wake up about 6 or 7. So I'm getting at least 8 now. But, on nights, let's say you don't sleep those 6.5 hours, plus you're training twice a day, plus I work, 6-7 hours a day. It's definitely takes its toll, and run that for years straight. It definitely takes a toll on the body, and I'm getting old, man. I gotta. We all
are. Yeah.
For sure.
No, well, either way, you end up with this great opponent here in Bryan Barberena, a guy who himself has had a lot of adversity in terms of, injuries and things of that nature. How excited were you first off just to get this fight? Because this has got Fight of the Night written all over it.
Oh, for sure. We're both coming out swinging. I'm excited just for Bryan Barberena. He's a good name. he's a good name for my record, and I definitely plan on, in my honest opinion, I'm gonna fuck him up. That's how I feel. That's the way I'm looking at it. And with my new recovery system and how I feel, I'm gonna be a different person in that cage, and I've been working on a lot of things to make that come true.
Come from a great gym at Glory. Who are some of the main training partners for this camp? Who are you getting to work with?
My man Julian Marquez. I've put in a lot of work with him. Jason High. A lot of the southpaws of the gym. Jason High is a great striker, great wrestler. So to have him in the gym and have bodies like Julian Marquez to be in the gym and put in the work with them, it's you really can't replace that. That's
great. And the cut, I imagine, is going better because, again, you went to the PI. I'm sure you sort of figured some things out there maybe that would help make things a bit easier. Plus, if your sleep's better, I'm sure your weight cut's easier too.
Yeah, last weight cut was extremely hard. It was weird. We get down those last 3 or 4 pounds and cross, what the hell is going on? I'm not dropping those pounds, and that was just stress related. It really was. My body was stressed. My body's like, I don't want to do this, and I forced it to. But yeah, sleep schedule being better. I feel a lot better. Weight's a lot better. So just making those changes definitely helped out in my entire life.
We know James Krause will be in your corner. Who else is going to be in the cage with you that night?
Jason High, Julian Marquez. I don't know if it's both of them or one of them, but definitely one of them will be in the corner. Got to have them. They're my main training partners, so I want to have them around.
How's this fight playing out on July 31st?
Man, that's an unpredictable fight. It can go a lot of ways, but he's a durable dude. I see that. But I'm gonna put hands on him. I'm gonna hurt him, and I'm gonna make sure that I get my hand raised at the end. That's all that matters to me. You
mentioned sort of the changes in camp and some of the stuff that you've done. How much confidence do you have going into this fight, knowing that you were compromised to a certain degree in your last couple of fights?
I really, I can't look at it that way. That's in the past, and I've made the changes. So I do have a lot more confidence. I do feel a lot better about the preparation I'm putting in. In that last camp, I didn't want to be in the gym. There was a lot of times where I was just like, man, I'm so tired. I'm so stressed out that I don't want to be here. And I could see the progress not happening. I could see me not getting better. And this one, I could see my striking getting better, my wrestling getting better, my conditioning's better. And just that stress level just adds that confidence of being able to put in round after round, 10 rounds a day, plus strength conditioning, plus this, plus that. It's really boosted how I feel about a person and just myself in general. Not even in the gym, but just my mentality and my mood overall throughout every day.
Have you been making more time for yourself, like downtime, things like that, like making sure you're not overworking yourself as well? Is that part of it?
I have, yeah. I really got to kind of, hey man, if your body I didn't go to strength conditioning today because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I just couldn't fall asleep last night. I did 10 rounds of sparring and MMA wrestling yesterday, and my body was just beat up. And which I'll get my strength conditioning today because I own a gym, so I can do that myself too. So instead of going to strength conditioning and hurting myself, I took a nap and then went to training instead. So that's usually I go to strength conditioning and then I go straight to training. But today I just made sure I got some sleep, let my body recover a little bit. Went to training, and now I'll go do strength conditioning later on.
What about TV? Watching any TV, any video games, anything like that in terms of downtime?
Not a huge video game player. I'm not. I think if you want to know the honest truth, the last video game console I played on was a PlayStation 2 that I owned, and I think it was Guitar Hero. That was the last really video game that I ever played.
It's a great game, by the way. Great choice. So yeah, I don't blame you. It can be time consuming. I completely understand that as well. But no TV either. Like, you watching any Netflix or watching any other sports or anything?
I do. I'm a movie guy. I watch a lot of movies. I get stuck on movies. I'm not a TV show person. I've tried to watch Game of Thrones. I'm not joking you, at least 4 times. I get to episode 3 and I can't do it anymore. I don't know why. I get stuck in YouTube rabbit holes, like whether it's car racing, politics, fights, anything of that nature. I just get stuck in YouTube rabbit holes and just dive down those and get stuck in those, which I really enjoy. My wife gives me a lot of shit about why do you watch so much YouTube? I'm like, it's just interesting to me. I don't have a lot of time to sit there and watch a TV show or watch an entire movie, but I can watch 3 things on YouTube in the time span that I have to relax a little bit. So,
well, yeah, and the medium's changing. Like, you're seeing a lot more people consume stuff off YouTube, on their phones or on their computer, as opposed to watching TV. I mean, the interest is there because it's instant, right? You can get something immediately and find it. And you mentioned being stressed out. I mean, I have to scale back on the politics stuff because it can be very depressing watching that stuff too. So I'm kind of that way as well, where I'll watch a little bit and then it's like, okay, this is a little too depressing. Let's go into something a little bit more lighter. So.
Sure, I don't watch the news at all, but I'll just chime into a little. Like you'll see something on YouTube and it'll pop up, and you're like, oh, I gotta watch this.
Yeah.
Not a political person. I don't have a lot of views on that, but sometimes I get stuck in that rabbit hole of just how it is.
Yeah, no, for sure. Jason, thanks so much for the time, man. Really appreciate it. Anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media, I'll give you the last word.
And I want to thank you. Every time I have a fight, ever since back in the day, you've always, I know that's your job and I know you love doing that, but I love talking to you, and I always appreciate the time that you and I get to share in these things.